The Libra Association came out with a new white paper this month. And you may recall it's been about a year since they last came out with a white paper. And that was attacked by everybody from people in Congress to financial regulators to even crypto anarchists. But the new white paper is primarily aimed at addressing the concerns that were expressed by financial regulators. So it's about 29 pages long. I'm sure not everybody watching this has read the entire thing. So I'm going to give you a brief summary of what is included in the new white paper and the 4 important changes that Libra made between this white paper and the last white paper. Libra previously had proposed issuing a single new cryptocurrency token called a Libra coin. And that was going to be a new digital asset that was supported by a basket of different existing fiat currencies, including US dollars and euros. But a number of politicians in the United States, and even politicians outside the United States, expressed concern over that. And their concern, in essence, was that it would undermine the sovereignty of the monetary policy of the United States. Specifically, for example, if the Federal Reserve was trying to increase or decrease the overall monetary supply, it can do that with US dollars. But if a large percentage of people in the US economy are using Libra coin instead of US dollars, then the action that the Federal Reserve has on the US dollar won't have as much of an impact on the overall economy, because they can increase or decrease the amount of dollars, but not the amount of coins that are being issued by Libra. So to address this concern, Libra said that it would now be issuing single currency stablecoins. So these are cryptographic tokens that are backed by one specific fiat currency. So for example, a stablecoin backed by the US dollar would have a US dollar or maybe a low-risk treasury inside a bank account for every one of the tokens that are issued. And this would theoretically address the concern about monetary policy, because if every single token is backed by a US dollar and the Federal Reserve increases the amount of US dollars or decreases the amount of US dollars, it would be increasing or decreasing the overall amount of dollars that are, including those dollars that are backing the cryptocurrency token. And so it would theoretically have the same amount of control over the monetary policy of the United States. One of the main complaints that were expressed by financial regulators here in the United States was that this new Libra network would not be compliant with anti-money laundering laws and regulations. And this was a major concern to financial institutions here in the United States because they're regulated. And if their regulator doesn't believe that the Libra payment network is compliant with the Bank Secrecy Act, they're not going to use it. Because they don't want to be charged with being part of a system that is resulting in the violation of anti-money laundering laws. So Libra essentially addressed this in 3 ways. First, it created a new overall system for how individual participants in the network will be treated. And this gives different sets of rights to different participants. So banks, for example, have different sets of rights than for example, regulated money services businesses that have different sets of rights than unregulated cryptocurrency exchanges, and they have different rights than individuals that just want to make payments. A second change that was made by Libra is they created what they call a financial intelligence function. And so this basically is a function within Libra, the Libra Association itself, that helps work with the financial institutions and other participants in the system to ensure that they comply with the law. A third change is that they're going to be rolling this out over time. So when the system first starts functioning, banks will perhaps be participating, some regulated entities will be participating, but unregulated exchanges won't be allowed to participate and individuals won't be allowed to directly participate. And over time, the idea is they will be expanding the network to more and more individuals, but they're going to start out, in essence, with only having participants that already have some regulator overseeing how they comply with the Bank Secrecy Act. So, of course, it's a lot easier to say that you have a comprehensive solution to regulatory problems than to actually create one. So we'll see whether or not they're actually able to succeed in implementing this new proposal. Another concern that some people had expressed about Libra was that a group of evildoers would come and take over the network and remove all of the compliance rules and functions that had been created on Libra. And this was a concern partially because Libra had said that they were going to be transitioning to a permissionless system. So essentially that would be a public system that allows anyone to come in and participate on the blockchain. So to solve this problem, Libra has said that they are no longer going to be transitioning to a permissionless system. So if you're an evildoer, in theory, you can't get onto the system because you first have to go through some type of application process before you're allowed to participate. And ironically, this might actually be something that Libra is excited about because now they can say, you know, we wanted to have this be public and we didn't want to have control over this whole system, but the regulators actually made us continue to control the system and we're kind of doing it against our will. But deep down, maybe they like having continued control over the entire network that they're creating. The last category of changes that Libra identifies is basically just a set of protocols for dealing with extreme circumstances. So, for example, if there's a global war or a global economic meltdown, the concern had been expressed by some federal regulators that they didn't have a plan in place to deal with those type of extreme conditions. So they now have adopted a plan, and that plan is modeled on the plans that basically similar financial networks have right now for maintaining stability even in times of crisis. And of course, those solutions are no more likely to work for this Libra coin than for any of those other financial networks. But it's good that they're at least thinking about the potential problems and that they're trying to address them now. The main takeaways for this giant new proposal that Libra's put on the table are that it's a lot less ambitious than what they proposed last year, but it's a lot more likely to get approved. And if it is approved, it is going to be potentially a massive new development. It's going to need to get approved by a lot of different countries because Libra wants to be integrated with a number of different global financial networks, ultimately every global financial network. And figuring out how that happens is going to be complicated, both legally and in terms of regulation. So if you're one of the FinTechs or the banks who want to know how they can make money on this and still comply with applicable law and regulation, you should call your lawyer. And I'm a lawyer. So give me a call. I'd love to talk to you about this and figure out how you can make money off this new opportunity while still complying with the law.